Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. I'm Crystal, the Crystalline Priestess, intuitive evolutionary astrologer and psychic tarot reader, and today we have a quick little video about the new moon in Virgo coming in hot on Tuesday the 3rd of September 2024, 11:55 AM for my Aussie besties. But obviously put it for wherever it's going to fit for you, my love. So, crikey. Now, this is actually going to be the last new moon before we have eclipses start again. So our next moon is actually going to be an eclipse in Pisces, full moon eclipse in Pisces on the 18th. So we've got 2 weeks before then, and I feel as though this moon in Virgo is warming us into the intensity of that Pisces eclipse, because that's going to be with Neptune. So we have Mars square Neptune over this moon, and that to me is feeling like we need to be clearing and cleaning up our spiritual integrity. Very much, especially with the moon and the sun in an opposition. It is wide, but it's an opposition with Saturn. So this is very much a moon that is asking for us to clean up and to make sure our spiritual hygiene is on point. Okay, this is like squeaky, spiritually hygiene clean. Okay. So just before this moon actually happens, we have Pluto move back into Capricorn, and I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of astrologers talk about this. I'm sure you guys have heard about this coming, and it's here. So holy crap, this moon is basically this wake up, I was gonna say wake up feeling. It's like this wake up call feeling where it's like, whoa, I am absolutely having like a reckoning. And it doesn't feel like a negative thing, if I'm quite honest. I think that this is actually positive, because I feel as though this is just basically with the sextile between Neptune itself and Pluto over this moon. It really is this very potent moment, essentially, where, I mean, it's not an exact sextile, but it's a very potent aspect nonetheless, and it is really calling for huge spiritual evolution. So the first card that we have out here is Best Possible Decision. Artemis, goddess of the bow, help me see what must be known. So I think this moon is a moon that's asking us to make choices. It's asking us to make decisions. It's asking us to be very realistic. And now that can be really hard when we have Mars square Neptune, and we also have a moon in sign opposition with Saturn in Pisces, at the same time as we have a sextile between Neptune and Pluto. So very much a moon that is calling for us to use our spiritual discernment, to pay attention to what we feel inside in order to make the best possible choices for our lives externally. This is a spiritual reckoning, in my opinion, this moon. So the sun and the moon being in Virgo, obviously a new moon in Virgo, it's an opportunity to plant new seeds in the Virgo area of our chart. So if you have mutable planets, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius and Gemini around 11 degrees, then you are really going to be feeling this moon, and this moon is really going to be pushing you into making much healthier choices. So I actually have a 15-degree Pisces sun and Saturn, so this is an opposition to me, and even though it's not that exact, it's still strong. So I've really been feeling this energy coming in that is really asking me to make a sovereign choice, to decide, am I going to stick with what it is that I've been building, or am I going to do something differently? I'm going to stick with it. You know, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing, but I'm going to be more practical about it. So this is very much just a word, I just saw courage. That is the word. It is very much a week that is asking you to have this word in mind the whole week. Courage. Do you have the courage that is required in order to make the best possible decision? A lot of us this week are going to be faced with making decisions. We're going to be faced with choices, and we're going to be faced with having to do things that maybe are uncomfortable, that maybe bring up trauma, or that bring up deeply rooted hidden things, because Pluto and Neptune are both subconscious trauma-based energies. So we're going to be having that coming up this week. We need to have the courage to face it. By shining brave and true and bright, my courage now returns this night. So I feel as though this is actually a moon that is helping us to regain a sense of courage, because with the Pluto moving back into Capricorn, this is us having to have courage in a world stage. This is us having to have courage to face what is coming in for us now, because Pluto has not finished with Capricorn. He is not finished with the government. He is not finished with our society and the restrictions and the placements, you know, that we have been put under as a whole. This is still very much us working through the crumbling of specific systems and specific ways of humanity being governed, you know. So there's still this huge shift that's coming in, and I feel as though this courage, we have 17 and 18, it's a progression. We're progressing into being more courageous versions of ourselves at the moment. That's what these transits are pulling us into, because when we have this eclipse on Neptune coming in on the 18th, that's another huge lot of fog and craziness that we're going to be seeing in the world. So we're really needing to use this courage to use discernment, and so that we can, you know, Artemis, goddess of the bow, Sagittarian energy, it's about knowing where we're aiming our arrow in order to make the best possible decision. And then we have health and harmony at the bottom of the deck. So it's very, very, very important. And this is the Mars square Neptune, with this being in Virgo and Pisces. Very much it's important to focus on your health. Your health creates harmony and flow and happiness in your life. Health, Mother sweet, Mother Earth sweet, Mother Earth bright, bring me to your health and might. So it's about, you know, with the sun and the moon in opposition with Saturn, Saturn is physical structure. So he's asking, how are the health of your bones? How is the health of your gut? Your bones and your gut are essentially what is going to, and even, you know, Gemini does rule the lungs, but I see Mercury as also having that sort of affiliation. And so just Mercury signs in general, Virgo, it's definitely, you know, are you breathing well? Are you moving well? Is your skeletal system healthy? Is your digestive system healthy? These parts of you are going to show you your health and whether you're in harmony or not. If any of these things are out in your body, you're going to feel them this week, and they're going to show you where you need to prioritize your health, where you need to prioritize, you know, it's even giving me like, you know, this, she's not staring at the ground, she's staring up at the sky. Being connected to spirit is a part of your health. Spiritual health is important as physical health. And that's the axis between Pisces and Virgo. And you know, when we have the sun in Virgo, that means that the earth is in Pisces. So the earth is sitting there with Saturn, and the earth is saying, fuck, physically, I need to be feeling up to scratch in order to feel healthy. Health is wealth. And this moon is pretty much telling you that. And you're going to be feeling it in your physical body if you haven't been treating your health as a priority. Especially because we have Mars in Gemini square Neptune and Pisces. People could be having breathing difficulties, breathing issues. We might even be seeing things in the collective about airborne stuff, you know, all that sort of thing. That is why it's extremely important to be maintaining and taking care of the most integral parts of your physical body. Your skeletal system, your digestive system, your cardiovascular system. Get that shit in order over this moon. And because I spoke to this just then in weekly Astro Tea time. But I was really speaking about how important it is that we are maintaining breathwork practices and that we are maintaining a sense of structure for our lives. And over that Aquarius full moon that we just had 2 weeks ago, you should have been building a structure for what it is that you're trying to now implement over this new moon, because now we have the seeds being planted. Now you've created sort of the idea about the structure and the life that you want to build. Now it's time to get that seed in the dirt and to make it start happening. Okay? So harmony, as I create, I will share. Harmony divine with love and care. So the happier and the more healthy you feel, the more you actually want to share with others. The healthier you feel on the inside, both spiritually, physically, and emotionally and mentally, the more you're able to connect with the people around you in a harmonious way. Because at the same time as we have this new moon, we do have the South Node conjunct Lilith, and with Venus moving up on that as well, obviously in an opposition to the North Node in Aries. And the North Node has been with Chiron in Aries for a long time now. So this is us clearing out and really dealing with issues around identity and around the head, around the mind, around the way we're perceiving ourselves. It's definitely a moon with this Lilith South Node conjunction to not be trying to take the easy way out. It feels as though this is definitely a moon that is asking for you to be brave and to have the courage to do things that are a little bit more difficult than you want to, you know? This is you having the courage to pursue your health and to find harmony in life in a way that seems difficult, you know? It's gonna cause you have to make a decision to do it. I feel as though this is very much giving me the energy of like creating keystone habits. So if you haven't heard of keystone habits before, essentially they are habits that are the cornerstone for massive change that we want to create in our lives. So a keystone habit would be creating a diet and an exercise routine and sticking to that. And that keystone habit then becoming the catalyst for so many other things in your life. So because you started working out, now you've started to eat healthier, now you've started to food prep, now you've started to plan out your meals, now you've started to paying attention to your macros. You know, this is just, it's a keystone habit is essentially a habit that builds on other habits, build on top of, because you've really put your time and your energy and your effort into really building this lower habit. Discipline. And that's the thing with the sun and moon in opposition with Saturn. And then after this full moon, new moon, the sun's going to move into his opposition with Saturn by Sunday, Monday next week. So that is really going to have us needing to be discerning and really needing to be on point with our discipline. And I actually listened to something the other day that really, really hit me and I loved it. And it's coming through for us over this moon. And it was basically the notion that you don't do discipline, like you don't do things that require discipline. You either are a disciplined person or you are not. Make your decision. Do you have the courage to be disciplined or not? Make the decision. You are not just, you know, someone who occasionally implements discipline. You either are someone who is disciplined, is a disciplined person, or you are not someone who is disciplined, and you are not someone who's a disciplined person. Decide on which one you are. And I'm hoping over this moon that you're going to choose discipline, because the only way to get anywhere in this new reality, in this new world, and this Pluto Capricorn is going to prove this to you, the only way to climb the mountain in this world is to actually fucking attempt it with courage and to do it with discipline and to force yourself. One thing that this Neptune in Pisces has really, really done to the collective, that has done a doozy on us all, is get us obsessed with the notion that, you know, you can just manifest anything out of your mind, that you can just, you know, go for your dreams and have them all manifest for you because, you know, you deserve it. It's this passion thing. And of course, I am not someone to say don't go for your passion, because look at me, I'm going for my passion. But there is a real disservice that Neptune in Pisces has sort of done to the collective spiritually, in the belief that we don't need to work hard to get what we want, to get our dreams and our realities, and to get our dreams and fantasies into reality. That has been the number one thing that I've seen Neptune in Pisces fuck up people over with. Because since we've had Neptune in Pisces, we've seen the rise of the influencer, and we have seen people, you know, now when you ask school children what they want to be when they grow up, everyone wants to be an influencer because they think that it's easy. They think that that's going to be the easiest, best, funnest job because that's what people make it look like. And the reality is that it is not what it looks like. This is South Node Lilith conjunction with Venus. People think that doing the easy thing is easy. It's not. It's not easy. I've had to learn this the hard way. I thought that, you know, jumping into an astrology career would be easy. And it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my adult life. Is this business, literally. And it is in the beginning stages. So the fact is, you have to realize that over this new moon in Virgo, things are going to be hard. You have to make hard decisions. You have to do difficult things. You have to do hard shit. And this is feeling like a full-on pep talk. This is feeling like a full-on motivational speech from God. You know, Spirit is saying, put in the work. I keep bringing up athletes because at the moment I'm just really into the athlete thing. I'm watching the Paralympics, all that sort of stuff. Those people are some of the most inspiring people on the planet. Why? Because they have something really negative, really bad happen to them, and they don't let it stop them. They discipline themselves enough to not let their emotions get in the way and ruin them. They do something physical about it, and I'm getting goosebumps. You have to do something physical about where you're at. Otherwise, nothing will ever change. And that's Mars square Neptune. Thinking that you don't need to physically do anything to make change. Balance. It's about spiritual harmony. This is what I'm, and 15:55 on the clock when I said that. This is the moon that shows us where if you're in your spiritual integrity, if you are spiritually aligned with yourself and where you're going and with your guides, and you know, you're in your fucking spiritual itch, you're in your shit, and you're feeling good, you're doing your practices, you're doing your rituals, and not in a way that is like, I have to do this or I'm not spiritual. Do it in a way that serves you. Spirituality is not that you have to wake up every single day and do your fucking yoga practice at the same time and blah, blah, blah. Spirituality is how you work and move in that. So this balance is asking for us to have balance over this new moon in knowing that if we are connected to God and we're coming from our heart space and we're coming from our connection with the divine, everything is going to, you know, not that everything's going to work out perfectly, but we're going to be moving in a direction that feels as though it's growing us, that it's building us up, and that it's expanding us. And if we're doing things that are disconnected from spirit, disconnected from nature, if we're just trying to run on the hamster wheel without any understanding of our intention, we're just running on that hamster wheel and we're essentially going to run ourselves to death. So this is about having the harmony between having that strong spiritual integrity behind you and that authenticity that helps you make physical, practical decisions in this reality, and that helps you make decisions that move you forward and that do things that bring you the life that you truly want. Because the life that you truly actually want is well and truly capable, but it's not possible for you unless you use this Mars, all this energy, this new moon energy, to essentially practicalize the dream, make it real, but also set it back into smaller steps. You know, if your dream is to become a famous actor, don't fucking make your goal to be in the next year, I'm going to become a famous actor. That's stupid. Make the goal to be, I'm going to consistently go to this many auditions in a month. You know, what can you physically actually do? Smart goals, okay? And I'm even going to read you my definition of smart goals on my Notion template, because I have been really getting into this like whole goal setting thing and figuring out how to actually do it. And I'd never heard of SMART goals before, and I thought it was smart. So, SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. These are the way you're going to be setting goals over this new moon, okay? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. This is how you're going to be setting goals, because it's time to be setting goals. This new moon is asking for goal setting, victory, and successes at the bottom. If you are aligned with spirit, if you are in your spiritual ish, if you are in your essence, if you're in your juju, if you're doing the work spiritually and physically, you are going to fucking climb that mountain. You're going to reach the top. It might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but it's going to come. And your health is the biggest indicator of how well you're doing. Because if your health is suffering, then you're fucking something up. Okay? Because your health at the end of the day is the biggest wealth. And I say that from having two very unhealthy parents and watching them essentially age and just grow into really unhealthy people. It's sad. It's pretty much makes me realize that, you know, if you don't have health in life, you have nothing. And you're only going to get older and feel worse. And so, do you not, like, that's the thing with Saturn. This moon is opposing Saturn. Saturn is longevity. Saturn is aging. Saturn is old age. How are you taking care of yourself for your future self? I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm going through my Saturn return. Like I just said to you, I have Saturn that's about to hit my sun, because my sun's 15 degrees and my Saturn's 15 degrees as well. So I've been learning this lesson really, really intensely. Realizing that treating myself like shit literally makes me feel like, firstly, crap, but it's also going to age me into an even worse feeling version of myself right now. So if I don't start prioritizing my health and taking care of my health and treating it as my wealth, then I'm going to get to 40 years old and I'm going to regret the last 10 years of my life because I did not take care of my body. So please, this is the message. Do not make yourself regret the choices that you've made because you weren't strong enough to make what you needed to. We have the father archetype coming out, and that is just hilarious because my dad is the #1 person who has taught me to not make the same decisions he has, because it's very much important. It's very much important to care about your physical body, because the second you stop, like, this is a real thing, and I don't know how old, like, especially for my older people out here that are watching, and I know older people watch my videos because we fucking vibe, you know? The biggest thing is when you stop. If you stop moving, I'm so sorry about that bloody annoying machine outside. But if you stop, you know, essentially you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And that's a really true thing. The second you stop working out, the second you stop exercising, the second you stop having something to live for, you start to deteriorate. And my dad was the #1 person I saw do that. So that's why this is feeling very much a message that I have to get across right now, that it's extremely important that you're prioritizing your health as your greatest #1 wealth. So the father, like attributes, is talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. And that's the thing. This is about you parenting yourself into becoming the most positive guiding light that you can be in the family unit or in the community that you have built and that you're a part of already. So essentially, this is reparenting the parts of you who don't want to take care of itself. You know, with Mars square Neptune, there's a very much an energy of not knowing how to move forward, not knowing what action to take. So the father archetype is out here to say, you know, that's Saturn energy. Saturnian energy is the father, and so is the sun. So when we have sun opposing Saturn, when we have sun, Saturn things, we have really intense family, father karma, daddy karma, you know? So it's very much a new moon that is asking for us to look at the stars. And this is even giving me Mufasa. It's giving me the fucking, when he's at the lake, he's doing the water. I'm getting goosebumps now. He's in the water and he is, like, you know, expressing to his dad that he just doesn't feel strong enough. I have full body goosebumps. But, you know, Mufasa's expressing that he doesn't feel like the king, you know, that his dad was. Wait a second. Simba is who I'm talking about. Mufasa was the dad. I'm sorry, guys. But basically, Simba, you know, he's saying, I'm gonna have to pause this. Hold on. Bloody fuckweed across the road doing his yard work. How dare he? I'm kidding, this is very Virgo, very much like home maintenance vibes, so maintenance, okay? Maintenance is very much coming up. Anyway, what the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, okay, that's what I was saying. So I'm seeing Simba when he's in the little watering hole and he's seeing his dad, he's seeing Mufasa. And the clouds thing, like, this is really, really coming up. So I think that this actual, this opposition with Saturn could definitely be bringing up, like, father issues with people, or, you know, the shadow attributes of this is dictatorial control and abuse of authority. So I think that that's this Pluto Capricorn thing as well, is us needing to learn where authority is healthy in our lives. You know, authority doesn't actually have to be an unhealthy thing. I feel like with this father coming out, this is learning healthy authority. This is about learning to parent yourself in a healthy way. This is about learning to connect with, you know, who was the man that brought you up? Who was the authority in your life growing up? Because that's why Saturn is the father and the sun is the father, because it's about authority. It's about how you learned to master and govern and discipline yourself. So the father has a lot of information for you in how it means that you've grown into your own sort of sense of an individual, whether you're a man or a woman, essentially, or a something. Essentially, you have a dad, and even if your dad wasn't around, what did that create effect-wise in your life? How did that have you starting to look at authority? How did that have you looking at discipline in your own life and all those sorts of things? Because it's correlated, it's connected. And then we have the poet. Expresses soul insights in symbolic language. Shadow attribute is turns a lyric gift into a negative or destructive effect. So I feel like this moon is definitely asking for poetry, you know, writing things out. If you have some really deep emotional things coming out, and especially because I did pull some astro, like shake the astro dice before I started filming this to just get an overall energy, and we got Pisces sun in the 8th house. So that's definitely feelings, deep feelings, emotions, traumas, these sorts of things coming up. And like I spoke about in Astro Tea Weekly the other week, was skeletons in the closet. Have we been cleaning them up? Because they've been coming up over the past few weeks. So there is things that we've been avoiding that are really coming up to be processed and dealt with. And the poet is asking for us to express this in a beautiful way, symbolically. Music, singing, writing. You know, do you have a favorite song that reminds you of your dad? Singing that song. I've actually been doing that so much lately. Now I got goosebumps. But I've been doing that so much lately. My dad loved Rob Thomas and Nickelback and stuff when I was a kid. And so lately I've just been pumping Rob Thomas and like How You Remind Me and all those sorts of songs that remind me of my dad. Because it's just like this, you know, sometimes you cannot think something, you have to feel it. And the only way to feel that is the music. It's to read something that he used to read something he used to love, to write something that similar to what he used to love. You know, I don't know. It's just feeling like there is this need with the father and the poet to express the beauty that you've been given in a really beautiful way. And I feel as though for, you know, my loves that haven't got like healthy relationships with their dads, this is about you needing to like express this in a beautiful way as well. Express your sadness. Let that sadness be as beautiful as your joy, because it's all human emotion. It's all on the spectrum. So it's all important. And so I feel like the father and the poet is asking you, can you parent yourself through allowing yourself to actually express yourself symbolically? Can you do things in a different way? Maybe your dad failed in certain ways of expressing himself, and so I feel as though this new moon is about planting seeds of self-expression that actually lead you to the life that you want. And that's where the discipline comes in with the father. You know, it's not about being in dictatorial control, and especially not society-wise either, because there's a real issue that we've got coming up around socialism that I can see very clearly playing out. And so this Pluto at 29 degrees of capitalism 29 degrees of Capricorn is kind of trying to kill off capitalism, is trying to bring in socialism with Pluto and Aquarius, and that ain't good. So there's definitely a need for us to be working through what feels right for us, and to just be learning and expressing and just sharing. You know, like I said with this harmony, as I create, I will share harmony divine with love and care. And now I'm getting a really itchy nose. So let yourself create over this new moon. Let yourself write. Let yourself just express, because it's going to help you find harmony, and it's going to help you, especially if you share these things as well. You know, if you write something, if you're feeling like really called to share something, just share it. There's a reason that you feel called to share it. So, my loves, let's get one last card of advice for the new moon. I'm not going to do a pick a card today, I don't feel like it. We have base chakra at the bottom of the deck. So root chakra stuff, this is definitely one of those moons that's going to have us just really feeling into reality really strongly, I think. Memories of love and recognition and reward. So it's a nostalgic moon. It's a moon, anytime we have Pisces and Virgo energy, it's nostalgic. So we have memories of love and, what was it? Recognition and reward. So I feel as though there is definitely a recognition that you're going to be feeling within yourself, and I think that's going to be coming in externally over this moon. For, you know, the fact that you have worked with this patience and this base chakra, you have actually been doing the work behind the scenes. You know, you've been doing what you needed to do in order to get you to where you're going. And so I feel like even that little discipline pep talk, you're already there. You've already been doing that discipline. You've already been putting in that work. And so that's just like a little bit of a boost. Like if you keep going, you really are going to see the recognition and the reward that you are trying to manifest, that you've been wanting to actually manifest and to create in your life. It's definitely definitely a moon that is calling for practical, grounded, you know, practical, grounded, realistic ways of working through sadness, working through loss, working through really strong emotional and intense sort of experiences. Mars square Neptune, like I said a million times, it's just it's foggy and it's discomforting, it's uncomfortable, it's uncertain, all those sorts of things. So the best thing you can do over this new moon in Virgo is to try and ground yourself practically by just doing what you can when you can do it, and to focus on, you know, what it is that you're building and the little things that you can be doing in a day to help you get to that point, and trusting that you're being spiritually led to a much healthier, much grander, much more aligned space and harmonious space in your life. So my loves, I'm going to leave this reading there. I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are still here, oh my god, I love you. Please do give this video a thumbs up, because it helps to spread these messages to other astro nerds like you and I. I'd like to thank your angels, your ancestors, your higher self, your spirit guides, all the beautiful benevolent beings that are surrounding you and I in all moments, for allowing me to receive and to deliver this magical message to you. Do make sure you check out your channeled songs. If you'd like to book a personal tarot or astrology reading with me, you can do that down below. The links are all there, my loves. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next reading. Peace.